Welcome, 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 everybody, to This Week
What?
in Miami. We've blown in the video game cartridge, hit the reset button. You know, Finally got our logistics out of the way, and we're just happy to be back. Um, you know, we're talking about our Miami sports every week now.
Yeah, man, it's fun. A lot of it was my fault, guys. I promise. Like Byron said, there's a lot going on. We're a lot. We have personal lives and jobs, and stuff was crazy. But we've I've created some time on the calendar due to some unforeseen circumstances that happened. But moving on, I'm excited. We got opening night for the defending Cup champs, your Florida Panthers. We got the Heat playing some preseason ball. We got the Hurricanes 6-0, baby. Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff if you're a Miami sports fan. And this is where you want to stay locked into this network to stay in tune with everything Miami sports, baby.
Absolutely. So we'll jump right into it, and the way we'll go is it'll be kind of how things go um, in season. So we'll start off with tying a nice little bow on what was a terrible and miserable baseball season for your Miami Marlins. 100 loss season, cleaning house,
Yeah.
lots of questions. What are your thoughts on this terrible season?
Oh man, it starts at the core. I think it's just not really good organizational moves. Just a lot went wrong. A lot went wrong that we couldn't control, and a lot went wrong that we could control. Essentially, the organization right now is the laughing stock of Major League Baseball. Outside of the White Sox, right? They had a historically bad season, but only one game better than the Colorado Rockies we were in the National League. Outside of that, you had the Angels that were kind of teetering at around 100 losses as well. I think they finished with 99. Really disappointing season for them. I'm sure they're loaded with talent. But yeah, man, Skip Schumacher, the being relieved of his duties, it was a disaster. It was a disaster. I like seeing the guys that were part of the organization have success elsewhere. That it's almost like a consolation prize for me.
So the
Right.
only person you're talking about there is Arias.
Yeah, but you like to see Tanner Scott and his success, right? And you like to see Jazz and what he's going to be able to do in New York. Uh, yeah,
I
yeah, no,
agree with him.
yeah. Mark's got a very valid point. Only 1 year removed from a playoff berth, and it just felt like the fucking wheels fell off. So a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to digest. Certainly, a long off season ahead of us. I'm still, being of Cuban descent. I'm a huge baseball fan. I grew up playing the game. I love to see the Marlins, be successful. But man, when you're ranked, what was it, 29th in fan attendance this last year, something's got to be done, right? I mean, yes, we're not the greatest fans, but when you go out to the ballpark and you pay those outrageous prices, and have to deal with that stuff, you want to see a winning product.
Well, when we win, we show up. It's just this team hasn't been able to put a product on the field to keep fans because
sustain. Yeah, and it's not like the talent isn't in the organization. You see where all the talent ends up. It's just on other baseball teams, just either mismanagement or poor recruiting. There's a lot of guys that we were acquired via trade that are no longer playing the game of baseball. And that's just telling to your player development. Your coaches, from the top down, man. So there's a lot wrong with the organization, and I hope that we make some changes for the better. It's not going to happen overnight. It may not, it may not happen for a few seasons, but I just want to see us go in the right path.
The cleaning house happened overnight, but I
Yeah.
digress. So here's the way I see it. I thought it was a terrible move, and he won another batting title, so vindication. It was a terrible move to get rid of Arias. That irked me from Peter Bendix. I don't think he knows what he's doing, but that's here nor there.
You've made that clear.
So I think Peter Bendix got hired, and he wanted a clean house from day one.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the Marlins had just made the playoffs. You can't clean house after
you can't justify it. Right.
Correct. And I think the writing was on the wall from the beginning when they voided Skip Schumacher's last year on his deal. They basically made him a lame duck manager. It was clear they weren't going to bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't get rid of a manager. Did he win Manager of the Year?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had Joe Girardi win Manager of the Year and get fired. Skip Schumacher win Manager of the Year and get fired. Who the hell has this much talent that they let walk out the door? We had Miguel Cabrera and got nothing in return. We let Real Muto go and got nothing in return. And Sixto has turned out to nothing. Alfaro was nothing. Yelich.
Yeah, Alfaro. Yeah, he was terrible.
Yeah, we got Yelich back, and the piece we got back was the piece we decided to keep and trade another piece. So here's how that went down. You trade Yelich to the Brewers. You get Jordan Yamamoto back in that trade. Yamamoto shines in the minor leagues, and so does one of our pieces. You had these two pieces side by side, and you made the decision to trade the piece we had in the system and keep Jordan Yamamoto. Do you know what the piece was that was in our system?
Why am I frozen? There we go.
Do you know what that piece was?
I don't recall. Enlighten me.
So we decided to trade that piece for Josh Chisholm, who is no longer on this team. But we traded away Zach Gallen, the ace of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
The defending NL champs. Yeah.
So this team, like you said, just makes one bad decision after another. Hiring Peter Bendix, I thought, was also a bad decision. Letting go of Kim Ang with the success she had was also a bad decision. Like, you can't ask fans to come see a team that is a rolling dumpster fire from top to bottom. Why am I going to go pay my money to watch a raging dumpster fire?
Especially a fan base that demands success, right? And has been used to seeing success, right? You 2 World Series titles. Huh?
It's a relative term.
Right, but it's a fan base that's, you can't just expect them just to come out just because. I mean, like you said,
you have to aggravate themselves and see the team lose.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, it doesn't line up, man.
All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way and that disgustingness that is that aspect of it.
Did you see also before we move on from the Marlins, did you see that Anibal Sanchez showed interest in becoming the next skipper for the Marlins?
No. But I wasn't moving on from the Marlins. I was going to kind of shape what I feel that this offseason and next season should be. I mean, you all heard that Peter Bendix cleaned house after a 100-loss season, which he was responsible for. I feel like they almost set up the team for failure, given the moves they made. He cleaned house. They fired everyone. I think one of the biggest mistakes was even including Mel Stoudemire in that. I think that is the one piece that needed to come back. Simply because what he's done with this pitching staff is absolutely remarkable. We have the possibility of having Sandy as our ace comeback, Yuri as a 2. You have Ryan Weathers, who's made leaps and bounds. That could be your 3, or you can put Luzardo at 3 and Ryan Weathers at 4. That's a hell of a rotation as is. And then you can mix and match between, oh my God,
Max
his name
Meyer?
escapes me. Garrett.
Braxton Garrett.
Braxton Garrett. Beyozo,
So,
who could be in line for your 5th starter.
I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with
Yeah.
with him and what he was able to do in such a short time.
Edward Cabrera is also in the running.
Yeah. Cabrera also was able to work on his control. I think he had a little bit more control during his outings later in the season. That was something that was a knock on him, right? He was erratic, so he was able to work on that. Beloso, I like what I saw from him. Max Meyer is still recovering.
Yes, that's another piece that I didn't mention.
Yeah. So
pitching.
And then is Trevor Rogers still in there somewhere?
Trevor Rogers is an Oriole.
Is an Oriole. Wow, totally missed that.
He's an
Who
Oriole.
Who did we get in return for Mr. Rogers? Was it
Stowers and Norby.
Stowers, right?
And Norby.
Oh, hey, those are some good pieces that played well late. Connor Norby.
Yeah, give me 1 second, okay?
Yeah,
1 second. I'll be right back.
So while Byron, I don't know, he's got dinner on the stove, I guess, or something. But exciting stuff. The Cats began their title defense tonight. Holy shit! And we just missed 3 goals just like that. End of the first period, and it's 4-1 Panthers over the hated Boston Bruins. The Heat are up in their preseason matchup against the Hornets, 62-58 at the half. So exciting stuff.
My apologies. I was just making sure that my apartment was still intact. The Kendall Sports Network Byron Studios are in Orlando, and I'm prepping for a hurricane. I was doing a little laundry, and it sounded like my washing machine fell down the stairs. But no, it just turns out that
I just told the listeners you had dinner on the stove, and I kind of updated. By the way, we missed freaking 3 goals, dude.
I know. I saw. It's 4-1 after 1.
4-1 after 1. That's crazy. Yeah. And the Heat are up at the half against Charlotte, 62-58. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. But yeah,
if the Marlins can get some bats, which spending has always been the knock on this team.
I think we have a few bats in the lineup right now that I think could take the next.
I don't think. So here's the thing: if I know the bats you're talking about,
I like Sanchez. I mean, he's come around.
Yes, but he can't be. So okay, Sanchez, Otto Lopez.
Otto Lopez is a great hitter. We cannot. We better hang on to him. Otto Lopez. I love what he brings.
And what's this kid? Oh my God, Xavier Edwards. These are guys that they have to take a step in order to be productive major league hitters over a long haul. Because
like everyday contributors in a 162 game season.
Correct. There's a big difference between, sometimes, being what looks to be like a productive hitter in a Marlins lineup and then being a productive hitter in the, let's say, Dodgers lineup. You get what I'm saying? So, for example, Otto Lopez here for the season. Let me make sure I have him here. He hit 270. That's pretty much what the bottom should be in terms of being a productive hitter, in the major leagues. For example, Jake Berger, he hit 250. That's unacceptable. Jesus Sanchez hit 252. That's unacceptable. But because they're on
those guys are going to give you the power numbers. Those guys are going to give you the home runs and the RBIs and the slugging percentage, typically, with a little bit lower average.
But for example,
you take the good with the bad, bro.
Berger, I'd want 10 percentage points. If you're going to give me 29 home runs, which is
I need you to hit 260, 265, right?
Correct. And Sanchez, who had
That's
18, cool. If you're going to give me 18 homers, you have to be in the 280 range.
280, and you better drive in 80 to 90 runs.
Right. So, these are guys that we see production on in a Marlins lineup that if you were to put somewhere else, wouldn't sniff the diamond. And it's that type of
you don't know that, right? Because depending on who you bat around, right? Because remember, look at Miguel Rojas. Miguel Rojas wasn't a stud over in Miami. He was a solid defensive guy and a solid clubhouse.
He's not a solid defensive guy. He's way above average defensively, and that's what keeps him on the field.
Right, but you take him out of a Marlins lineup and you put him in a Dodgers lineup, and it's a totally different dude.
Right, because you're taking him out of hitting second and being a corner piece of your lineup, and you're putting him in a Dodgers lineup.
Putting him around studs,
where he's hitting ninth and he's an afterthought, walking up to the plate with absolutely no pressure. If he goes 0 for 4, who gives a hell? You have everybody else producing as long as you don't give up any runs on the defensive end.
Right.
So that would be the one thing I need this franchise's floor to be a little bit higher. Xavier Edwards, he did hit 328, but he didn't qualify. But he didn't
have enough ABs, right?
Right, but Edwards would be a guy who I'm intrigued with. If he can, and I don't expect him to hit at a 328 clip. I would love for him to do that. But if he can hit at a 300 clip, a 290 clip, with the speed that he has, and forget the average, I just want him on base half the time. Is really what I want. Whether it be hits, walks, whatever it is that you want.
Triples. Triples.
Yeah, whatever it is. Be a productive player. But that's why I'm saying we need to go get bats, because the bats that we have are productive Miami Marlin players that are way below. What is it? Berger's WAR is 0.5 and Jesus Sanchez WAR is 0.7. You mean if I stop paying Jake Berger and put a jag out there, you know what a jag is, right?
No.
Just a guy.
Just a guy?
Okay. Yeah, if I put just a guy out there,
I like that.
I'm losing half a win.
Yeah, that's crazy. Jesus Sanchez led us in batting average with a 252. Yeah. Berger had 29 home runs and also led us in runs batted in with 76.
You mean our leader couldn't drive in 80 runs?
I know. And then we were 27th in runs scored. It was 637. 28th with a 300 on base percentage.
Do me a favor. What is 76 times 2?
I'm terrible. 152. Is that right?
76. That sounds about right.
Yeah, 152.
You want to know what the major league leader in runs batted in was this year?
Judge, right?
144. That is, you mean to tell me that as a team, your leading run batted in guy is half of one guy? Half.
And get this, our leader in wins was a relief pitcher, Tanner Scott.
Yeah, we were, and he wasn't even on the team anymore. He's a Padre.
Yeah, the picture is they already switched that one out to a Padres picture.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
I think I don't want him here, but I wish him all success. But okay, enough. We spent 20 minutes on the Marlins. This always seems to happen with us.
That's about 15 minutes too many.
Yeah. So now to our defending champs. They're on now. It's a 4-1 after 1.
Holy shit. Offensive freaking firepower to kick it out.
And fights. There were goals and fights in that first period.
Wow.
The Bruins decided not to start Jeremy Swayman. They started their backup goalie.
That's odd. That's an odd move.
Yeah, we did start Bobrovsky. But what So here's the kicker. Every single expert that I saw had the Edmonton Oilers winning. One guy had the Panthers winning. One guy had the Devils winning. But everybody, except the guy who had the Panthers winning the title, had the Devils playing the Oilers in the finals. One, what do you think of that? And two, what are your expectations this season for the Panthers?
Oh, well, it's gonna rely a lot on obviously the big names and whether they're able to stay healthy and produce, man. But we all know that hockey is, you can get hot and sneak into the postseason and make a hell of a run, man. It's one of those things that's so hard to predict, man.
So maybe this is why it says Swayman didn't get any training camp or preseason. So maybe.
Yeah. So, no, man, my expectations, I would expect us to, to make the postseason again. It's a tough league, man. The Oilers are stacked. We know over on the in the Western Conference, the Stars are going to be, the Stars are going to be in the conversation as well. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd have to see. I'd have to see a few more games and kind of get a gauge and to really give you an idea as to who I think is going to be hoisting the cup at the end of the season, man. I'm just happy we're kicking ass and we got off to a good start this year. And we brought a cup to Florida. So
yeah. So here's my expectation for the season is I want to see continued dominance on the ice. It's if you're building what I think you're building, the culture and the expectation needs to be there regardless of the offseason losses. I know we lost Montour. I know we lost the Lamborghini. We lost a few guys that were a big part of the run. We also
retained quite a few guys that were a big part of the run. Yeah.
Huh?
We also retained some guys that were
yes. But I'm saying we lost a few guys and we brought in new guys. The question is now, do those new guys come in and mess with what we have, or do those new guys come in with a culture and an expectation set and fall in line? You get what I'm saying? That's the difference between the Dolphins, to bring up another Miami team, acquiring a bunch of players and having to find an identity and find the locker room. And
that's something that Paul Maurice has already established with this group. Right?
That's what I want to make sure is going to happen. It's kind of like Spoelstra in you're wearing the heat. Exactly. Anybody walks into that locker room, they know who the big dog is. Nobody's walking in there with peacock feathers.
Nobody's, everybody is going to hold each other accountable. Maurice is a fantastic coach and a leader, and his consistency and his, he's just so even keel, man. It's a guy that's just, he's not going to stray away from what he's been doing. And he's got a hold of that team, and those guys play for each other. So I think anyone that comes in there, they'll know their role, and they'll be able to contribute. And like I said, just hopefully you stay healthy, right? Remember we had injuries to Forsling late in the season last year. There's a bunch, Luosterainen, right? He was hurt too.
Correct.
So you keep these guys healthy. I mean, it's a long season. It's a physical, obviously it's a physical game. It's a grind. But man, we got a lot of great pieces, man. Of course, our Rock Barkov, Sam Bennett, Sammy Reinhart, Rodriguez, who was huge late in the year last season.
Yeah, those goals in the finals were big.
Yeah, man. To Chuck, I think, Verhaeghe, there's so many names that you throw out there that were contributors that all they got to do is just have, close to the season that they had last year.
And a name you don't mention is Ekblad.
Yeah, Aaron Ekblad. Yeah. You're right. Another OG. That all he has to do, is stay healthy and play within themselves. And I think this is a good enough team to make another postseason run.
Yeah, my expectation is the Eastern Conference Finals. Um, it's been a long 2 seasons. Um, I hope they can get there. But I think the Eastern Conference Finals it should be the expectation for this team. The only other thing I want to see is Bobrovsky's 37.
Bobrovsky. Yeah.
He's very long in the tooth now. What I do want to see is I want to see them bring along and take steps towards building who we know is going to be his successor. A kid who's won playoff games at 19, has had his struggles, but the team has been doing right by him, and I want to see him be brought
Spencer
along
Knight.
this season. Spencer Knight, correct.
Yeah.
That is
yeah,
who
we signed Dreger, right?
Trigger, yes.
Yeah.
But I do want to see Spencer Knight come along and take steps to what eventually will be replacing Bobrovsky, because at this point Bobrovsky's earned the right to say I'll play as long as I want.
Right. Exactly.
So that would be my only other expectation of the Cats this season. Vamos Gatos.
Yeah, Vamos Gatos, man. 4-1, the second period just underway on ESPN and ESPN Plus.
And no more Bali locally. No more. It'll be on CW39.
Yeah, no more Bally Sports. Thank God. That was a nightmare.
I like Goldie. So to me, I'm glad that they kept everybody.
Yeah, Goldie's great. Yeah, I love his calls.
Moeller, where Mrs. Moeller keeps the peanut butter. Love that guy. All right, moving on. The hat you're wearing, the Miami Heat, like you said, they're in action tonight, preseason at Charlotte. Quick check on the score here.
It's halftime.
It's still at halftime? No, I have an update. It is now 73-72 Charlotte. 5:45 left in the third.
Cool.
Kind of a similar. What did you like or did not like this offseason with those moves? What are your season expectations of the Heat?
Hey, this is going to be a team again that's built on they have an identity. They have an identity. A team that's going to compete. Did you want to see some more additions to solidify a roster and a deeper bench? Absolutely. You have an aging power forward in Kevin Love who can still contribute, but it's going to deal with some injuries, I'm sure. You have Josh Richardson coming back from injury. Drew Smith, a young guard that they're high on, coming back from injury as well. Jaime Jaquez should continue to get better. Triple J, I love Triple J. I
call him 3J.
Yeah, the kid out of Arizona, Pell Larson, showed me a lot in the summer league. Summer league champs, by the way, baby.
He's Finnish.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck it. I don't care if he's Finnish. I'm just saying where he went to school. Zona. So he was well coached. A well coached kid. You also have Jovic. He's going to continue to get better and grow and develop his game. I'm excited. We
just signed
Alec Burks.
No, signed him to a 1-year deal this past week or 2 weeks ago. God, I forget his name.
Josh Christopher?
No.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm looking at the freaking roster right here, bro.
See, bro, stats and info.
Oh, I like the kid we drafted out of Indiana. I think he's got.
What's his name? Khalil Ware or whatever.
Khalil Ware, yeah, I like Khalil Ware. You can't forget about Duncan Robinson.
Listen, I'm not high on Drew Smith like you guys are. I don't think he's an NBA point guard.
I think he's just a ball handler that is. I can. Who can I compare his game to? It's hard because it's very unique. But
he's right. Nasir Little.
Nasir
Nasir Little.
Nasir Little.
Yes,
Good
yes,
call, Mark.
yes.
Yeah.
Atta boys, that's an info.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and listen, if you think Mark is great here, wait till you see him every Thursday at 7 p.m. on False 9. Who
Yeah.
does this man talk about Inter Miami, which
This
we'll talk
guy
about in a little bit now.
This guy is great, man. I'm not gonna take away any of his thunder. You guys gotta tune in on Thursday nights for Pulse 9. It's an exciting season. Inter Miami is at their almost at their peak.
All right. Pump the brakes. We'll get to them later.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the Heat.
I'm excited about the Heat, man. You know, another couple names we didn't touch on. Tyler Hero. You know, this guy is, I think Tyler Hero needs to have, he needs to stay healthy, of course, and he needs to have one of these like in your face type freaking seasons where I'm gonna like he came out guns a blazing last year. I need him to sustain that throughout the entire season and stay healthy, man. Because that's a guy who can really elevate your team. A guy that can create for himself. Haywood Highsmith is another piece that's I think is huge. He's gonna give you an occasional bucket here and there, but a hell of a defender.
I think the loss of Caleb Martin is gonna hurt.
Yeah, sure, but you're gonna get more from a Nikola Jovic. You're also gonna get a healthy Terry Rozier that can maybe fill in some of that scoring that you're gonna lose from Caleb Martin. So yeah, I mean, sure, I'd love to have Caleb Martin still on the roster, but I think we got enough pieces, man. I think we got enough pieces.
You know who I'd love to bring back? That is just driving the struggle bus in his new team.
Whiteside?
No. One of the Tres Leches trio. I know that Max Strus is really doing his thing in Cleveland.
I love
but
Max.
The guy I'd love to bring back is Gabe Vincent. He struggled mightily in LA.
Yeah. Hey, that's a tough place to play, man.
Listen, if they decide to cut him, waive him, stretch him, listen, come home. Terry Rozier starting at the 1 with Gabe Vincent as his backup. I mean, that would be one hell of a 1-2 punch. I know it's pie in the sky, it's building castles or whatever, but I really do miss Gabe. I think his ability to shut down people in the playoffs was incredible.
I think we got some pieces, man. I think we got some depth, which is needed. You know, I like Thomas Bryant coming back. I think that guy gives you a lot of energy off the bench. It's a great rebounder. What was an issue for Miami last year? Getting out rebounded, right? They were small. They needed a.
K-Love is coming back too.
Huh?
K-Love is back too.
Yeah, I like K-Love. Another, still at his age, still a great rebounder, a great outlet passer. We know this. A great defender, a great spot up 3 guy.
He's a decent defender now.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, because he's lost a few steps.
He's a decent defender now.
Decent defender. He's gonna make you fucking earn it. That's what he's gonna do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll give you that. So, all of this being said, what is your expectations of the Heat this season?
Oh man, again, it's tough. I really haven't thought about it. I really haven't thought about it because I've been so freaking focused and so balls deep into the freaking Dolphins that you forget that this season is about to kick off too.
What would you consider a success for this team?
I think a 50-55 win season is kind of somewhere where I'm at. I think the team can achieve that, get close to 55, 58 wins, something like that. I think is very doable. But there's a lot of young, hungry teams out there, a lot of talent. There's a lot of parity in the league right now. So Miami is, we'll see where they're at the deadline. Hopefully they can make some moves to continue to improve. Hopefully again about staying healthy. When you put these rosters together and you rely on a lot of your main pieces staying healthy, we're gonna need some more Jimmy Butler, man. Where I just felt like this team didn't turn it up enough during the season. And what happened? You get a fucked up seed, and then you play an unfavorable matchup to start your postseason. I don't want that shit. I don't want us to do the fucking play-in tournament. Turn it up. turn it up, turn up the intensity from the beginning. I don't want anybody's vaginas hurting and taking, freaking,
No, we're a
unnecessary.
PC show. We're a PC show.
Hey, vagina is the medical term. Um, I just don't, hey, veterans rest. Eso es una comedura de
Look,
mierda, bro.
Mark respectfully disagrees as opposed to disrespectfully disagrees. He says he can still play defense, but I need a bucket getter on this team. Someone to be able to create his own shot. And I imagine we're talking about Kevin Love. Mark, I think he's a decent defender. I don't think he's any longer a defender that would.
Hey, this is going to be a guy. We can't expect him to be the Kevin Love that he was with.
No, he's coming off the bench
with the Minnesota Timberwolves. But what we can't expect is an occasional, 10 to 12 points. You come in when someone's in foul trouble. You come in and you don't miss a beat, right? You got to have a veteran.
What I expect Kevin Love is to come in and give minutes where the team doesn't lose a 15-point lead. I just need him to give me enough to keep that second unit afloat. I think he's still a decent defender.
He's gonna be great in the development of Jovic and the development of Khalil Ware. This is a guy that's gonna be instrumental.
He says that he was speaking. You don't think Gabe Vincent would be a good backup to Terry Rozier? I'm not saying that he's going to be a starter on this team. He says he knows what Kevin Love.
Okay.
I don't.
I thought so. I thought you would, but
I don't expect Gabe Vincent to be a starter on this team. I think Terry Rozier is a step above Gabe Vincent. But I feel that if this team's backup is Gabe Vincent, the expectations from that position on the floor.
So essentially, you're replacing Drew Smith with Gabe Vincent, is what you're telling me, right?
You don't think that would be an upgrade?
Well, I think so, sure. But
right, so that's kind of where I'm at. I need someone who can do. I feel like Drew Smith is a net negative on the floor. He's going to give you minutes, but I think that we need someone that isn't going to be a net negative. I'm okay with someone being even, but I think that this team, if we're not going to have the elite upper tier, besides, we have Bam and Jimmy. I don't consider Hero elite. He just hasn't shown it to me over long stretches of time. He's given it to me in spurts, so he can't be in that conversation. So aside from Jimmy and Bam, who is going to? Mark says, why couldn't this team's?
I like that. That's.
You want to know why it can't be Tyus Jones? Because it says Jones just signed for the minute. Not to say that Gabe is much bigger in terms of stature, but Gabe defended above his weight. I feel that Tyus Jones' size, if I'm remembering Tyus Jones, I believe Tyus Jones is a small one from Duke. Yes? Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. Yeah, Tyus Jones.
Yeah. And I think size is something this team sorely needs, unfortunately. That.
Moving on. Moving on.
Right. Okay. My expectations for this team.
There you go.
A 4 seed and an Eastern Conference final appearance.
You in the Eastern Conference Finals. So you have the Panthers in the Eastern Conference Finals and the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals.
2 years ago or 3 years ago, we had the Heat in the finals and the Panthers in the finals. What's so wrong about that?
You're right. I think there's still enough on this team for them to get a 4 seed. I don't have a problem with that. So who do you have ahead of them then? What do you got? Boston, you got Milwaukee, you got the Knicks.
Listen, I'll be honest. I think the Knicks downgraded so badly.
Carl Anthony Towns, huh?
I understand. Carl Anthony Towns is better offensively than Julius Randle. But
you could argue that they're pretty comparable offensively.
No, I think Carl Anthony Towns is a better overall scorer than Randle. Randle's like maybe a step below, but you're not going to replace Randle's hustle, Randle's defensive presence. Randle just has a streak to him. He's a physical guy. he's not really like he's not Anthony Mason, but he's a presence.
Anthony Mason mentioned. Wow.
Yeah.
I remember in his unorthodox shot too.
Yeah. He's no Charles Oakley, but I've seen rolls of Charmin that are stronger than Karl Anthony Towns. I just think he's soft.
Wow, shots fired. If there's any Knicks fans watching,
he's soft, and anybody who doesn't tell you that is wrong. Jimmy Buckets ate his lunch in Minnesota, and then Anthony Edwards ate his lunch in Minnesota.
Those are definitely two alphas for sure.
Okay, but you know who's not one? Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay, maybe they didn't want him to be the alpha for this team. They just want him to fucking get buckets. That's what he does. All right. So expectations, Eastern Conference Finals, not bad. 4 seed. I think that's a little high, but I don't know. It just kind of depends. Depends on whether we stay healthy. If we make any moves in the trade deadline, if we if fucking Tyler Hero can play more than like 30, 40 games.
So you're okay with them not being in the play-in?
Huh?
That is your expectation to not be in the play-in game.
To not be in the play-in. Yes.
Okay. Given where we've come from, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Cool. Go Heat. 74-79. Hornets up 5 right now.
Okay. I host along with Mark.
No, just kidding. 87-81.
So I'm gonna give you the floor. Talk to me about Inter Miami.
That's above my pay grade. Inter Miami, your supporter shield champs, man. I think
Mark says that the Heat finished between 4 and 6. I agree.
I like that, Mark. Here, this is where I'm going to defer to Mark and Byron, man. I love watching this team. I think they've come a long way already this season. When we were talking about them early in the year, we were asking, hey, can they perform without Suarez, without Messi, without their big names, and they've proven that they can. Mm-hmm. They've come a long way. I think the highly criticized Tata Martino has done some great things with this.
Still criticized on our show.
Yeah, I'm sure. If you don't criticize the guy, you're not doing your job, right? But I think he's done well, man. I think he's done well with the pieces that he has. I think he's elevated a lot of the guys. I've seen a lot of growth from a lot of the young kids on the roster. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see this team hopefully make a run for the MLS Cup, man.
Yeah, I think the expectations right now are with our second team, with the playoff spot clinched, the Panthers should score again. It is now 5-1. With the
this offense come from?
I don't know, but I'm okay with it. So the expectation for me is to win the cup. I think that our second team, who's going to be on the pitch now, is more than capable enough to get what I want is the all-time points record. It's within grasp. And then that MLS Cup to add more trophies to the case. The MLS and FIFA have conspired to make sure that Inter Miami is in the Club World Cup. Hard Rock Stadium is one of the venues for the Club World Cup, and they're going to host the first game. So who do you think is going to play at Hard Rock on that first game? It's a no-brainer. FIFA's all about money. All FIFA cares about is money.
Really? No.
Yeah, that's what this is. It's money grab. So Inter Miami, big playoff expectations. Hey, big playoff expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And get ready. I think decision day is Saturday, and then the playoffs start after that.
Yeah, man. Exciting. The team's exciting to watch. I'll tell you that, man. They're exciting to watch. A little scary when playing with the lead. They've their defense has been kind of suspect as of late. What are your thoughts on them playing with the lead and having to and we've seen them give up some leads late in games. What are your thoughts, Byron, about that? How does that need to get? What do they need to do in order to ensure that that doesn't happen against one of the better teams in the postseason?
I think the young guys have taken steps because of the veterans on the pitch.
Like the Noah
Um,
Allens and the
well, yeah, Dotto's still a knucklehead, but even he has had growth. But I think there's a certain calmness when the veterans are in there. Yannick Bright has a calmness, even as a rookie, is has a calmness to him in these spots. He does the dirty work. I think that these guys training every day with the Busquets, the Messis, the Suarez, and seeing how they don't get rattled by anything. I mean, these are guys who've played in Champions League games, in Champions League finals.
against the best competition in the world.
Exactly. This MLS isn't going to phase. If that didn't phase them, this isn't. And I
Yeah.
think the young guys seeing that type of reaction,
Resolve. Yeah. And yeah,
and
that type of, yeah.
it's a problem that has been correcting itself slowly throughout the season. There's a confidence that was given to them when Messi was out by Alba and Busquets, where it's like, don't worry about Messi. We have enough. And it's almost like a vote of confidence that allows these guys to take steps in terms of growth. And it's been demonstrated. So I think that having these guys in the locker room and the pitch has corrected some of those things that will allow these guys to not give up those leads, not give up. I mean, look at what we did to Columbus a few days ago. Supporter shield on the line. Possible that race could have been so much tighter.
To start the second half, and then we capitalized on a mistake right away.
So there's definite growth from the beginning of the season to now, and the guru has stepped in.
The key will be on Tata putting out the right personnel, making the correct subs at the right time, and trusting the guys on the pitch. The guys will play, but can Tata manage it correctly? I mean, I think he's shown us that he can do that, right?
Although he has tacticless Tata as a nickname on our show, but go ahead.
You've seen improvement from him during the course of the season as well. Some of the mistakes that he was making early on, he's not making anymore.
The only one that he keeps doing is waiting on those subs way too long.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited nonetheless, man. I would love to catch a game at some point, man, over there in Fort Lauderdale. I'm sure our boy Mark has been there a few times.
I've been there. It's beautiful.
So, man, I can't wait. I can't wait. Hopefully, all three of us can link up and go to a game. In the coming season. So we'll see. But a lot of excitement. Tune in Thursday nights, False 9, with our boy Paramount Pete, Byron Garcia, and then Mark Gonzalez, the guru.
Yes.
That guy is our own Taylor Twellman.
He's our version of Fernando Fiore, our version of Tony Kerke, our version of Taylor Twellman, all in one.
Yeah.
All right. Miami Dolphins, big win this Sunday against the New England Patriots.
Huge win.
2-3, second place in the East. The Jets just fired Salah. It appears that everything is written on the wall. Devontae Adams is going to be a Jet. What are we talking about here with the Dolphins?
Man, like we talked about on the Dolphin Chronicles, man, you got to be
every Monday night at 7:30.
Yeah, you got to be happy. You got to be happy where you're at now, considering the circumstances and what we've been dealing with. What would otherwise be categorized as a dumpster fire of a season, 5 weeks in, and you're sitting at 2-3 in second place in the AFC East, I'll take it. Do you wish that you could have, produced a little bit more and the offense looked a little bit better? Sure. Do you wish the special teams were in a better place? Sure. But I think this builds character. This winning teams have to have these kinds of runs and these kinds of experiences in order to get better, really, because talk about trying. Tyreek Hill waking up and tweeting about the fucking trades and shit, and it was in his head too. And now you see he's tweeting and he's like, "Oh, it's about to turn the tide," and that was needed. That was needed for the locker room. That was needed for the veterans in that organization. That was needed for a Mike McDaniel, okay, who myself included were calling for this guy's head because we were like, "Oh my God, make adjustments, dude." Make adjustments and keep it simple for the people that you have in there right now. Yes, I understand that this is an electric offense with Tua, but Tua's not here now. So quit being so damn stubborn and make the changes. And I think you saw that. I think McDaniel finally trusted the run game, right? In that touchdown scoring drive that gave us the lead. And then you saw that maturity, you saw that growth a little bit. And that's exciting. That's exciting. I think that's something that we need for this stretch. We do have the easiest strength of schedule remaining. So that's promising, right? You have some really big matchups. You got Buffalo, of course. Again, you got you got the Jets. You got Green Bay, who's looked really good. You got the Cardinals on the 27th, who have played really well. They just beat a really good Niners team. They almost beat the brakes off of the Bills week 1. They've played well. If Kyler Murray is in his bag, that's a dangerous football team. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to come. I think I just hope that Tua, I don't know, maybe he can wear that. What do they call that thing? That's
Guardian cap.
Guardian cap. That Guardian cap. I don't know. Do something,
Yes,
man.
yeah.
I know it looks stupid and silly as hell, but I don't give a shit. Wear it, and let's salvage this season. I think we're still in a good spot. You have guys coming off the PUP list. Odell's gonna have another week of practice under his belt. He's gonna force people to look at him. He's gonna draw some attention. Then you're gonna have the guys like Jonnu Smith, which was a great contributor last game. You're gonna have those guys free up. You're gonna have Tyreek and Waddle. They're gonna be allowed to make some plays. They can't guard everybody. Somebody's gonna be open. Okay. But I like it. You eliminate the pre-snap penalties. You stop with all the pre-snap motion bullshit. You minimize that a little bit, and you start to play some smash mouth football. And you're going to be fine. I think Jalen Wright is going to continue to get better. Raheem Mostert, you saw him in spurts. He had some big runs in that last drive, that last scoring drive. Achane hopefully is okay after concussion protocol. Fuck, if Josh Allen's okay, I'm sure Achane's going to be fine.
Yeah, he should be.
So yeah, I'm excited. A very winnable game against an Indianapolis Colts team that really hasn't shown me much. They'll probably still have an old 40-year-old Flacco under center, but he was lighting up those other squads. So I can't say shit about Joe Flacco. That guy continues to perform at his age. They might be without a Jonathan Taylor. He's battling an injury too. I think it was a high ankle sprain, if I'm not mistaken. So it's in front of you. The season is still in front of you. It's still early. There's a lot of games left and a lot of winnable games left.
Absolutely. Well said. Now to the cream of the crop. The thing I've been looking forward to the most. We're briefly touch on them here, but new show debuting incoming probably next week, not this week because of the storm, but next week. Hurricane.
Yeah, prayers to all those folks in Tampa in the path of Hurricane Milton, man. This thing's brutal. Take action if you haven't already. Please.
Yeah, I'm running away. I'm leaving. I'm going down to Miami.
Our prayers are with everyone in that area. Byron, be safe, brother. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to go over there to freaking Woodbury with the folks. Then
Bird Lakes. The Bird Lakes.
Yeah. All right. Over there off of 137th and 47th.
Yeah, 100 in Kendall. That's why we are the Kendall Sports Network. Everyone here thus far has grown up in Kendall. except for Johnny, but he's one of us, so who cares?
That's where it all started for sure. But yeah, our prayers at the Kendall Sports Network are with everyone in the path of Hurricane Milton. This thing's huge. So don't fuck with Mother Nature.
Yeah. Her new show coming in, Hurricane Warning, every Wednesday. Time will be announced soon. But your Miami Hurricanes go
Miami Manny.
with Miami Manny, yeah. Your Miami Hurricanes go into Berkeley to visit the Cal Bears early Sunday morning in Miami. Get a victory to go 6-0, thrilling comeback. What have you thought of the Canes so far? And what are your expectations for this season, the rest of the way after this bye week?
Well, let's see. Who do we after the bye week? We have Louisville. We have Florida State at home. We have Duke. We go to Georgia Tech. I think that's a tough game. Georgia Tech is a good ball club. Then we're home to Wake Forest, and we go to the Cuse to finish out the year. So
that's another tough game.
Another tough game. My sister and my mom are both Syracuse alum. They're Orange women. So that would be a fun game to watch with them.
Yes.
But no, man, they should. If this team plays like they're supposed to play from the opening whistle, and we don't play down to the competition, like what I feel we've been kind of doing the last couple of weeks, we should run the table.
Okay, so you have us undefeated.
I have them undefeated. Virginia Tech always gives us a problem. Sure enough, they gave us a problem. We eked out a win there.
Tech also does as well.
Georgia Tech, yeah, with their physical run game, always gives us a freaking battle. I'm glad we're not playing a Boston College team with a Thomas Castellanos, because they gave us problems also in the past. But Louisville, that's an 11 a.m. ABC game on the 19th. That's going to be a big one.
It's an 11 a.m. game? It's a noon game.
Oh, 11 a.m. my time, brother.
Yeah, noon.
Sorry, noon. But that's a big one. That's a big one. I don't think Florida State is going to give us a hard time. That's going to be a packed Hard Rock Stadium, right? Because the Seminoles suck this year, and our fans are going to let them have it when they go over there to Hard Rock on the 26th. I may go to that game. I may be in Miami for that matchup, and then the following day is the Dolphins and the Cardinals. So I may head down there. But I think that the two games you got to mark, of course, Louisville and Georgia Tech. Syracuse, yeah, they're gonna be tough, but I think we'll take care of business. Louisville and Georgia Tech, I think, present the bigger challenges to Miami right now.
Okay. So here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Clemson, Miami, and SMU.
Out of the ACC, yeah, I like SMU. They had a big win last week.
Those three teams can be undefeated in the conference. Who goes to the conference championship? I don't know what the rules are. Is it the higher ranked teams?
That would make sense. I mean, SMU is their first year in the ACC. They're local over here where I'm at. That's a good program, well coached.
Because I see all three teams running the table.
You think so? I think SMU trips up at some point. Let's look at SMU's remainder.
I did. That's why I think SMU runs it.
Who do they have coming up?
They have Stanford, Duke, Pitt, Boston College, Virginia, and Cal.
They're gonna lose to Pitt. They could very easily lose to Pitt.
Okay. And then we have Clemson has Louisville, has Virginia. No, sorry. Wake Forest, Virginia, Louisville, Virginia Tech, Pitt. Those would be the last remaining schedules. They have the Citadel, who's a cupcake, and then South Carolina at the end with the rivalry game. I don't see them losing either.
You don't see them losing to South Carolina. I think South Carolina could knock them
It's not a
off.
conference game.
Oh, true. They could also lose to Vatek. Vatek with drones under
Right.
center, man, and that physical run game that they have, they're tough. They're tough. They can wear on you. Clemson has shown me a lot. Obviously, since the beginning of the season, they've turned it around and played some really good football as of late.
Right.
I think that's the only threat to Miami in the ACC.
But we don't play them this year.
We don't, yeah, unless somehow in that new format. I don't know how that would work out.
At least this year, they're not on the schedule. SMU's not on the schedule. So neither of those three teams play each other to say one's getting eliminated. So we have three teams that could possibly run the table in the ACC. I'm hoping that they get tripped up and we run the table. But
I think we have the more favorable schedule to run the table. I think our strength of schedule hurts us, right? Because Florida State's unranked, Louisville's unranked at this point too, right?
Yeah, I mean, but strength of schedule's out the door. If we win the ACC, which if we run the table, I don't see how they keep us out of the championship game.
No way. That's a Power 5 conference, and you're what are we, number 6 in the nation now, or number 5? What are we?
Six.
6 in the country. You play again. Just don't play down to your competition. I feel we did that against Cal. Yeah, Cal's defense is good. They were up there nationally as far as points per game and forcing turnovers. But ultimately they got worn down. We ran enough. I think we can get Fletcher going, AJ Allen, Damian Martinez. We got a hell of a backfield too, man. We got some stud backs. So I hope we can run the ball a little bit better against these more physical teams like a Georgia Tech, like a Louisville. Florida State's defense is still Florida State's defense.
And it's still a rivalry game.
Yeah, still a rivalry game. So that they're going to get hyped up for it, and they're going to go out there, and we got a target on our back. So now we just need to continue to play. We can't turn the ball over. We can't hurt ourselves, right? But I think the difference is now that you have a true leader on the field who is not rattled. This guy has got ice water in his veins. He does not care if he starts the game 0 for 3 with 3 picks. He still goes in there like it's like he's 10 of 10 and hasn't missed, which you can appreciate that. It's a little crazy, and those across
by the way,
his body throws and shit like that. Huh?
At the hockey game after the goal, everybody.
Oh yeah?
I don't know how. I like when you have UM celebration crossing over sports, I feel like it feels like we're back. I don't want to say we're back, but it sure feels that way. The country hates you.
You're right. You're right.
We feel good. The city's behind it.
They have found ways to win when in other seasons those were easily games that
find ways to lose
that would slip away from us, and we would freaking bring what do they say? How do they say it? We would take a defeat from the jaws of victory or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas this season we're finding those ways to win. So excited about what's left of the Hurricane schedule. I think they do run the table. I think this is a team that can compete for the national championship.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here, folks.
Given what's happened, I'm really intrigued about this Texas OU game coming up this weekend, right? Because Texas seems like the only one in the top 5 there who hasn't kind of hit a hurdle. You know what I'm saying?
I would love for OU to do something, but Texas is going to blow them out.
You don't know that, man. You don't. That's a rivalry game again.
I agree.
A rivalry game.
Texas is the better team.
Yeah, and do they put Quinn Ewers back? He's ready to go.
Yeah.
But that's a very tough team. But my point is that no one has really separated themselves, right? Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. Georgia has shown signs of weakness. Michigan, Oregon hasn't been super impressive. But I think there's an opportunity for Miami here to be in that conversation again.
No, I agree. And you heard it here, folks. An extended week in Miami, given the beginning of the seasons. Next week should be just a recap of everything that has happened. Alex, where can they find you?
On X at TX_TSB. Guys, I'm crazy. I talk a lot of shit. I tweet a lot. But I'm real. I'm genuine. And I'm not a fair weather fan. I'm not a casual. A lot of times I know what the hell I'm talking about, and when I don't, I own up to it. So,
Yep. So you can find me at Paramount Pete on X. Please hit like, hit subscribe. Tune into False Line on Thursdays. The Dolphin Chronicles on Mondays. This week in Miami looks like it's here to stay on Tuesdays, and then we'll have Hurricane Warning every Wednesday. So tune in to all of that stuff for all Miami sports. For Alex and everybody else here,
stay safe.
Sports Network. Please be safe for the storm. Johnny, you're in our thoughts and prayers. We know you're in Tampa. I will be running from the storm, leaving Orlando to Miami for the storm. For Mark, who's in Miami, hope everything turns out for us down there. But stay safe, everyone. Have a great one.
Take care.
Peace.